Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with Mystic Song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called O Thou Divine Wisdom. We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is November the 9th, 2018, Friday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Tulsi Ramayana. This is series 2016, class number 128. And now, Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda ji.
Om Nilambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panavu Maha Sayakacharu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side, carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Sri Ramcharitmanas, Sage Ramayana, Balakanda, and we are in the verse number 324 onwards. And we are breaking with the news. The best news. Once you have heard it well, there will be no breaking. It will be brief. You will be able to say goodbye to the entire world forever. And that news is Rama marrying Sita. This is not a historical event. This is the reality. Every individual must experience Rama's marriage with Sita. Until then, listen to the story, how it looks like, joining the marriage. Every soul is Rama. Viveka buddhi, intuitive intellect, Sita. The central purpose of life is to allow the soul within you to be joined with Viveka buddhi and thereby to realize, I am Rama, I am Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. I said it so quickly, but that's the topic of the entire Ramayana. So remember, we are now in a very joyous atmosphere. Rama is going to be wedded to Sita. And all the Bharatis, marriage party has come along with King Dasharatha. And Rama's brothers are all there also. Lakshmana, Bharata, Satrughna. And we are already in the process of all the ritualistic performances needed for Rama marrying Sita. Jaya dhuni bandi veda dhuni mangal gan nisan suni har shahi var shahi vibudha surataru suman sujan. All the descriptions are meant to lead you into the realm of upasana, allowing your mind, no matter where you are, join with the procession. Travel. Human mind has that capacity. You want to go to any pilgrimage center. In the earliest stage, you have to physically go there. But as you advance, manchanga takatvat me ganga. And mind becomes highly sensitive. You don't have to go all the way to the Ganges river. And then get frustrated Banks are not as it was advertised. I'm joking. You find Ganges right even in your bathtub. Now, what I'm leading to understand, you would find the Rama's marriage celebration right within your own heart. You don't have to buy a ticket to go into that. I'm joking. You don't have to plan to go to a big marriage party. Now, mentally imagine the glorious performance, the greatest joyous occurrence, Rama marrying Sita. Soul being wedded to Viveka Buddhi, and thereby enlightenment, liberation. All religions have only this climax. Jayadhuni. Now this celebration, what type of sounds do you see? Do you hear? Hear the sound of Jai, Jai, Jai. Glory, glory, glory. Bandi Dhwani. Bards. There are special people in old-time royalty whose main purpose was to maintain the traditional glory of kings and emperors, the whole line, and what wonderful things they did. So they are constantly praising. Bandi Dhwani. Veda Dhwani. And there are others who are chanting Vedas from different parts of the Vedas. And there are others who are doing Mangalagan, all types of songs that bring auspiciousness. And then there are sounds of instruments, kettle drums. Even those sounds are all well-trained sounds, you see, they're not. You need to learn how to beat the kettle drum to bring out different sentiments. If I lead you to a more subtler point where you are being led to, the world you live in is a divine world. Jayadhwani. Everything in this world is glorifying God. The breeze comes to you and whispers into your ears. See, without me, nobody can live. And I am servant of that Rama. Sun shines. Every ray of the sun is glorifying God. Everything of this universe is filled with glory of God. What makes the peacock feathers so beautiful? God is behind it. What spreads out beautiful clouds in the blue sky and puts them in most artistic pattern. What makes birds fly with a V-shaped movement, declaring victory. People are so overwhelmed by the news from the media. They forget this bigger news. So that's Jaya Dhvani. Jaya, Jaya coming from all directions. And then sages and saints have sung the glory of God. That's Bandi Dhvani. And Veda Dhvani from the scriptures. And they are referring to subtle understanding that all the sounds you hear from the world, sounds from the birds, cuckoos, nightingales, sparrows, they have their different sounds, even squirrels, cats, dogs. All those sounds, if I tell you they are Veda Dhvani, they are Vedic sounds. They are all emanating from Om. Ah is the beginning of the sound movement through your throat. Ma, lips close. All sounds are between these two terminals, whether the sounds come from animals, birds, or whatsoever. It's Om that is resonating all over the universe. Now, let me not delay in this storyline. So, and gods are so thrilled. They are showering flowers. Ordinarily, they shower flowers, heavenly flowers, but not a special. But this time they are showering flowers from Kalpavriksha, Kalpaka tree, the tree that gives you absolute fulfillment. Just to understand subtle point. All virtuous deeds bring you into a state of celebration, joyousness. Gods are pleased by any act of virtue. But if your virtuous deeds have not come to open up your heart, if they have not brought that purity, that your soul begins to aspire for liberation, your virtues are immature, they are limited. And therefore, in that stage of limited virtue, the joy you receive is ordinary heavenly flowers. Not very ordinary, they are exquisite. They bring great joy to your mind. But they do not secure your liberation. They secure your fortunate life. The cycle of birth and death do not terminate. But in this Rama's marriage, they have especially picked up flowers from Kalpaka tree. Kalpaka tree is that amazing mystic tree. If you were to draw anything from Kalpaka tree, and all your desires will be fulfilled. It brings you absolute tripti, absolute satisfaction. So, joining in Rama's marriage, you will have absolute fulfillment. But any other marriage, you have a lot of sweets, calories. I'm joking. So you must realize how much subtle insight is placed in every statement. But when people read it, they must say, now what will happen? They go fast. All the descriptions are completely ignored. But that shouldn't be. When you eat your food, then you must enjoy every aspect of your food. Chew it. Enjoy the rasam. Then you have taken nice way. Your ahar has been well handled. In the same way, when you read scriptures, go into it. Put your tooth into it. And bring your tongue. Enjoy the rasa. The insight that you gain from the scripture is a kind of a rasa. When you gain the insight, suddenly you get thrilled. So, that's what you do. Every scripture opens for you a big magical hall of all amazing type of rasa. कुंवरु कुंवरी कल भावरी देही नयन लाभ सब सादर लेही जाई न बरनि मनोहर जोरी जो उपमा कछु कहाँ सो थोरी. Var, that's husband to be, and Kanya, the bride to be, both are circumambulating, going around the sacred fire. And all the audience, countless people, they are all thrilled to see this wondrous Rama and Sita going around the fire, circumambulating the fire. And I have explained to you before, this is allegorically soul ascending the 7 steps of wisdom. In that process, soul is joined with Viveka Buddhi, and fire is Brahman. And those 7 steps, 7 type of circling is 7 ascending the 7 stages. And then finally, the process of wedding comes to conclusion. Jaina Barani Manohar Jori. This pair, Rama and Sita, the soul and Viveka Buddhi, goes beyond all descriptions. So whatsoever can be said will be allegorical statement. You are trying to describe by comparing. Rama looks like the sky, Sita looks like the moon. But then you calm down. The moon is nothing compared to Sita. Sky is nothing compared to Rama. So all your upama, I'm not talking about the upama you eat. All the allegorical descriptions you bring into your mind to describe this state, they fall short. Rama siya sundara pratichahi jagamagata mani khambhan mahi Manahu madan rati dhari bahurupa, dekhat Rama vivahu anupa. It's a highly allegorical description. All the pillars, they are made out of crystals and they are transparent. And they bring about reflections. They are like mirrors. Sita and Rama, they are not only seen on the big throne or big type of a seat, but people are seeing them reflecting in all those pillars. And when they start looking, they know where to look. Everywhere is. Jagamagat. Your eyes cannot stay steady because every look is something more, better than the before. So your eyes are going like that. This is a highly allegorical description of what you get in satsanga. In satsanga, you are not only hearing the talk, but you are also in a foxy manner, I'm joking, looking at the faces of others. What's making them smile? Why are they laughing? And begin to understand yourself that this is why. And what you understand is only one wink, another wink. You have to understand more. It's called Jagabagat. Jagbag. Manahu madan rati dhari bahu lurupa, dekhat rama vivahu anupa. And highly allegorical description, what I term is pathetic fallacy. Kamadeva, Cupid God, that's the simple concept of the masses, of that Cupid God that fascinates all the minds. Behind all the fascination and pleasure people have, two elements, Kamadeva and Rati. They are the ones, the climax of all fascinating manifestation. Now in this Rama's Vivah, they appear. They can't hide themselves. And they appear and then suddenly disappear because they are not sure how to handle this. Rama excels all that beauty of Kama and Sita excels all the beauty of Rati. So beautiful that they who are admired by all, they themselves are admiring Rama and Sita. And what's more, audience are admiring Kama and Rati, admiring Rama. That's what happens when you go into a party. Your mind is dazzled in so many ways. Darasala sa kuch na thori, pragatat durat bahori. Kamadeva, Cupid God, and Rati, the embodiment of taste, delight, pleasure, delight. So Kamadeva and Rati, they are so involved in having darshan of Rama and Sita. And at the same time, they are highly restrained in their mind, that they should not appear before all these people. So again and again they manifest. And hardly they manifest, they suddenly disappear. Damini damak damak chip jahi. Lightning comes, flashes, hardly it wants to express itself or vanishes. All those who looked at this, what Kama and Rati were doing, they were extremely enchanted by all this scenery. And King Janaka himself lost his own awareness. Pramudita munin bhavari pheri, nega sahit sabariti niveri. All the sages performed the marriage rituals that involve taking Rama and Sita, circling around the fire, and with all the needed rituals prescribed by the Vedas. And Lord Rama is placing sindoor on the head, on the parted head. The hair is parted, one side, the other side, in between. And there Rama is placing the sindoor, the red powder. That type of scene cannot be described. That's the highlight of all the marriage, etc. They're gone, all the highlight is that's when it happens. Now let me give you some idea of the word sindoor. Humorous way. That which distances you from sin. Sindoor. That's the humor. And that's what is meant. Sindhu ur. Sindhu is ocean. Bring the ocean of love in the tumbler of your heart. That's what we say also, Gagar mes sagar. Bring in your jar the entire ocean. Bring in your heart that type of experience that leads the soul to ocean-like eternity. That act is this. That red powder is a allegorical description, simile for divine love. Love is described red. So even the children are called Lal and Lali. And the sunset and the sunrise is Lal. Lali dekhan main chali gayi. And everyone is looking for their Lal. And Lal is God himself. And when you find God, something amazing happens. You yourself become the Lal. The river finds the ocean, the river becomes the ocean. No commotion, no emotion. Another point is the parting of the hair. Raga one side, Dvesha one side. Love, worldly attachment and hatred. That keeps human head busy. But when you are coming to an advanced level, you move away beyond Raga and beyond Dvesha. Let them both exist, adversity and prosperity. And both are getting blessings from this sacred sindoor. So whenever there is this prosperity comes, you recognize the blessing of God. Adversity comes, you recognize again the blessing of God, presenting an opportunity for practicing austerity. So your both parts become beautiful with sindoor in the middle. And let me give you another idea. In Shiva Puran, in Shiva's stories, Lord Ganesha destroyed a terrible demon, Sindhurasur. Sindhurasur was able to control all those who could come within his arms. And he had amazing power given by Brahma. His arms extended everywhere. So much so he put all gods and goddesses between his arms, trying to control them. Ganesha came and he, with his big trunk, beat him down and destroyed. And when he was destroyed, he became sublimated into sindoor, a display of immense red color. This story means the Sindhurasur is moha. Moha is deluded love. Mind develops deluded love towards all. You may turn your attention to Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Lakshmi, whomsoever. But ultimately the deluded love is moving towards them. You are not attaining them, pleasing them for your liberation. You are pleasing them to keep yourself cozy with your world. That's what described in this story, that the moha captures all. In the storyline, you begin to wonder how these gods become so weak. It's called pathetic fallacy. Your problems are projected and brought in such a way as if gods are having the problems. अरुण पराग जलजु भरी नीखें शशि भूप आहि लोभ आमी के. Now this is also a very profound statement. It appears as if let me give the simple meaning. The Rama's hands are described like lotus. And sindoor is the pollen in that lotus. And his arms is like a snake. A snake is holding a lotus to adorn Sita's face, moon. The similar setting of Lord Shiva's face. Snake is in his neck, moon is in his matted locks, and that snake tries to enjoy the moon. So that's how it looks when Rama's hand goes, putting the kumkum or the sindoor on the head of Sita. It's a highly amorous description. I'm joking. Then what else happens? To go into deeper meaning, the hand is karma yoga. Lotus is bhakti yoga. All the yogas are blended in this act. बहुरी वशिष्ठ दीनानुशासन बरु दुल्हिनी बैठे एक आसन. Sage Vasishtha asked them to sit on one seat, both together, bride and bridegroom, Rama and Sita. It's known as Barasan. Bar sits on a special seat, cushion seat, with lots of colors, lot of jewels dangling all around. बैठे बरासन राम जानकी मुदित मन दशरथ भये तनु पुलक पुनि पुनि देखी अपने सुकृत सुर तरु फल नये भरी भुवन रहा उछाहु राम विबाहु भा सबही कहा कही भांति बरन सिरात रसना एक जहु मंगलु महा. Rama and Janaki, Sita, they are seated on the best of seats. King Dasharatha, father of Rama, is thrilled in his heart. He is delighted to see the beautiful fruit of kalpaka tree. His good karmas have brought fruit from kalpaka tree in the form of this setting of Rama and Sita. Again, even the description, the idea is being given. The Dasharatha's virtues were not sakamya karma. Those virtues were not for worldly gain. His virtues brought the fruit of Kalpavriksha, the fruit that gives you liberation, absolute fulfillment. And that type of joy he is seeing in the marriage of Rama and Sita. And now the news breaks. Rama and Sita are married. And they are all complaining. We have only little tongue. This glorious Rama is so, how can the tongue say? It just flickers between the two lips. Have you? That's the role of palavras. They stay within your mouth. Let me give you hands. Tongue is called rasana. When you experience something joyous and you want to share with others, even while sharing it, you are actually enjoying it. So as if you are bringing some delicious thing to your tongue. 9 types of tastes are brought out in literature, and they are recited through your tongue. Heroic sentiment, sentiment of compassion, sentiment of wonder, sentiment of comedy, sentiment of terror, sentiment of disgust, sentiment of frightening sentiment, peaceful sentiment, Shringar sentiment, most elegant. All those sentiments are brought through your tongue and written down in literature. That's called Sahitya. And through all these sentiments, you can sing the glory of God. That's what the purpose of Ramayana is. All sentiments are utilized. There are times of describing Ram's glory through the horror being experienced by the demons, and so forth. तब जनक पाई वशिष्ठ आयसु व्याह साज समारी कय मांडवी श्रुत की रति उर्मिला कुंवरी लई हकारी कय कुसकेतु कन्या प्रथम जो गुणशील शुभ सुख शोभामयी सब रीति प्रीति समेत करी सो व्याही नृप भरत ही गई. Permitted by Sage Vasishtha, King Janaka brought daughter of Kushadhvaj. Kushadhvaj is his brother. And the daughter of Kushadhvaj is Mandavi. Mandavi to be married to Bharata. And Janaka himself had, because Sita was born in a special way, but there were other daughters of his, and they were Urmila and Shruti Kirti. Urmila married to Lakshmana. Shruti Kirti married to Shatrughna. But behind all this there is subtler meaning. King Janaka himself is a potential Videha Mukti, liberation where body awareness is completely transcended. His brother is Kushadhwaja. Kusha refers to subtle, sharp intellect, and Dhwaj is a banner. His personality is highlighted by having pure insight into wisdom. And his daughter, Mandavi, becomes wife of Bharata. Bharata is bhakti movement, devotion. Remember, Rama is jnana, wisdom. Lakshmana is dhyana, meditation. Bharata is bhakti, devotion. And Shatrughna is karma yoga, karma. 4 yogas are 4 brothers. And Bharata is, bhakti has to be protected by that type of bhavana, that type of feeling, which does not go against wisdom. So Kushadhwaja comes as the source of Mandavi. Kushadhwaja, who is employing his sharp intellect, who is a devotee of his own brother Janaka, leading to liberation. So his daughter has to be aligned to the same process. Otherwise, people generally go into another type of distraction. That devotion is better than wisdom, so why to go after wisdom? Not so. Devotion that fulfills wisdom is real devotion. So therefore, Mandavi relates to canopy. Devotional movement sits under a wonderful umbrella or canopy. And is well protected. And dhyana movement, Lakshmana marries Urmila. Meditation becomes successful and more potent if there is a cheerful disposition in your heart. Your heart. And the cheerful movement is Urmi. In another way, beautiful lakes are described by their little waves called Urmi, shimmering waves. And Shatrughna is, Shatru relates to enemy, but enemy in spiritual study is your Shadripus, Kama, Krodha, 6 enemies, perverted desire, anger, greed, and moha, delusion. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha. Moha is delusion. Mada, pride. Matsarya, jealousy. These are not, these are only 6. 6 are the highlights. And karma yoga allows you to sublimate these. Not karma, just karma is Karma becomes karma yoga when you become highly involved with sadhana. Your actions do not keep you just in connection with your ego and your desires, but karma begins to open the door to being related to God who is working through your personality. You begin to discover you are a channel, instrument in divine hand. Same thing you are doing, but now the whole inner understanding has changed. So that movement, Shatrughna destroying, that Shatrughna movement marries Shrutakirti. Shrutakirti means Lord's Kirti is everywhere. Glory of God is always everywhere. And if you become sensitive to glory of God, your karma, every action that you do will become more and more of aradhana, more and more of a worship. If you are parents and you are working with your children, and when they cry, when they smile, when they sport, you see Rama, Lakshmana playing with them. So, you are developing a subtle sensitivity of listening to the glory of God. When you listen to that, your karma becomes karma yoga. Figure that out. It's a highly allegorical, poetic language. The more you listen to the glory of God, greater is the quality of your karma. But when you are listening to the glory of demons, what can I do? Here comes a horrible person. So I have to do to please him. Is that Shruti Kirti? Is Dust Kirti. But all these good qualities I am describing are attained in progressive manner. So never think that within a moment your mind will be completely with Rama's celebration. But allow your mind to enjoy these ideals as much as possible. Repeat your mantras and develop divine feeling. Again and again, repeated, it's called abhyasa. And abhyasa has this amazing power. So, Rama, wisdom, has married Sita, called Viveka Buddhi, discriminative understanding. Lakshmana Dhyana movement has married the positive cheerfulness of the heart, Urmila. Bharata has married Mandavi, that protective umbrella full of divine virtues. And Shatrughna has married Shrutikirti, the ability to see God's glory in the world, everywhere. Because karma implies you can be placed anywhere, meet any type of people. But turn your attention, all this world is filled with God's glory. Siya Ram Main Sab Jag Jani. So no matter where you are, no matter how difficult a situation may be, no matter how inimical a person may seem to be with whom you are confronting, understand the divine plan. All this is glory of God. All this is meant to lead your soul to enlightenment, if properly understood. And we'll conclude at this stage. The story is not moving fast, but Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshyamanritat. Om. It's a prayer for all of you, for health, long life, peace, prosperity, and enlightenment. And for peace, harmony, and enlightenment for all. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshyamanritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om. Om Shri Ramayana Namah.